Hi everyone, I'm Vone Kevitz, knit and crochet designer for one-of-a-kind makers who dare to be original. And I just want to make sure I'm live. I'll give you a chance to find me. And today, oh, that's me. And today is my first make along. So I'm super, super excited about this. I put the pattern in the show description, so hopefully you will see it. If you're joining me, say hi in the comments so I know who's hanging out with me. And I started it for a split second. Hi, Kathy. Good morning. Where are you and what time is it? I'm 9 a.m. here in Northeast PA. Shut off my phone. Where's my yarn? So I attempted it just hi, Linda. Hi, Amanda. Um, so are you guys going to make the sock with me, or are you guys doing your own projects today? Uh, so I attempted it, and this is a large that's barely fitting my hand. 8 a.m. That's not bad, Gayla. Good morning, 8 a.m. Not bad. All right, you guys aren't too bad. 8 a.m. I was jumping out of bed, yelling at the hubs because I should have been up like really, really early this morning for blood work, and I overslept. But it was a rough week this week. So this is a large, and it's barely fitting my fingers. So I think I need to figure out something else. My stitch is either too tight because there's no way my foot is going in here. And actually, I tried the small, and good morning, Andrea. I tried the small, and the small like was less than this, and then I was like, okay, I think I need to do the large, and this is what the large yielded, and it's not. So this is just yarn that I had laying around, uh, and it's a size 4. And so I think it's not stretchy, and I think that's the problem with this. It's like not forgiving, but it's really thick. So I'm gonna take 2 seconds and look back here and see if I could find. I wonder, Stitch Studio by Nicole. I wonder if this will be uh, softer. So I'm gonna go with this one. And so you guys can make whatever you want to make. I just want to come here and hang out with you guys. And then the only reason why I'm doing this way is because I haven't made anything in a long, long time. Good morning, Lydia. I haven't made anything in a long, long time. And so you just passed my area, Amanda, from Tennessee to Maine. I'm sure you did. Okay. So I posted in the Facebook group, in the Dare to Be Original Facebook group. Y'all, if you guys are on Facebook, you guys need to join that group. It's so awesome. And then I always go from the inside, and then this is how it pulls out. And so it always does yarn vomit in the beginning, and then I spend my 2 seconds to find the edge. All right, I'm just going to get going because it takes the first couple of rows in this one. It's a little finicky and detailed, and so I'll just get through that. And then there's like 20 rows where I could just crochet, and then I can chat with you because I have a couple of amazing stories to share with you that happened this week that I think you guys would really love it. And it's 2 amazing testimonies that God is working through us and He's answering our prayers. And so I definitely want to share those stories with you. But I want to get through these 2 rows, or the first couple rows. So it starts off with chain. So this is the red heart. I put the link in below if you are joining me for the crochet sock along there. And it's just a free pattern from Red Heart. So we're starting off with chain. I'm going to do the large again, and I'm going to go looser this time. And so H is the smaller hook, and then so it's calling for chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and then skip the first to make 8. So we're going to go 8 around, and it's just single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this, we're coming to the tail, and I always crochet over my tails. I never have tails hanging out. So, because I hate weaving in ends. And so how I do that is I just basically, before I'm going to lift that up and I'm going to take my hook and hook over it, and then it raises it up to the next level. Oh, wait, you know what? I'm not going around. So I'm going to backtrack a minute. I forgot I'm going the other way. We're going all the way around it. So we go one row the one way, and then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to go the other row the other way. So I will crochet over the other side, and then I will crochet over the ends and keep crocheting over the ends. And so we got 4 on this side, and then we want to mark this first stitch. And this is the funny thing about me is, you know how we have like a billion stitch markers all the way around, but what I always end up using is a tail end from another project, like the yarn, and I always end up marking from that because it's easiest and it's always available to me. And then I just want to mark that that is my, so I want to put that underneath it. I want to go over it, and we're going to go 8 on the other side. I'm doing the large. You could do, I think small is saying 5, 7. So I'm going to go, so we're going single crochet. So I marked that first stitch from the other side. So we got 8 at the bottom, and now we're going 8 up top. 2, 3, hold on, I'm making a mistake here because I just realized I'm going over my yarn. I don't want to go over the yarn. That was my stitch marker. I'm going to look to see who you guys are. I see the comments going, so keep chatting away, and then I will go back once I get to a comfortable spot for me. So that was 1. I'm going to go over this end. That was 1. That was 1. That was 2. I can already tell it's going to be better than my first round attempt, or I should say my second round attempt. So yeah, 4. I just need to land on 4, and then I'm in good shape for 8 rounds. 5, 6, 7. Something's wrong. Give me a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm on the other side with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, okay. There's the last one. The last stitch is always finicky. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Sylvia. I have a ton of stitch markers, but can't find exactly. And then I'm always stuck doing this. This is what I'm always stuck using. Another contrasting yarn. So we got 8 top, 8 bottom, and then single crochet into the oh, that was the round one. So we have 16 total. Work 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and then single crochet into each before the stitch marker. Where is, I want to use this stitch marker to mark my first. So now we're going back on the other side, and this will be the first stitch, and I'm still crocheting over my ends. And we want 2 single crochets into this first stitch. I want to mark that bad boy up. 1, 2 into this first. And then we're gonna go. You guys, the pattern is in the show description if you're just joining and you want to make the sock along with me. It's 2, 1, 1 and 1 up to the end, to the stitch right before the first marked one, and we're going to do 2 single crochets into that first marked one. We are increasing 4 in this round. So I am the stitch right before my mark stitch. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets here, 1, 2, and then the first stitch is 1. And wait, I want to move up my stitch marker. Yarn vomit in the beginning. It's always finicky in the beginning. So I'm going to lay my stitch marker on here. I'm so glad you guys are joining me. This is so exciting. Let me tell you, this has been one of my biggest dreams ever, is to crochet with a community. Because, and being that I don't know many crocheters in real life, so in my internet life, so I had to build a community on my internet life, and so I'm so excited about this. So wait, that was one on that beginning, and then 2 single crochets right after that in the next stitch. What was the, and then, so wait, we're on round 2. I don't want to lose track. 2, and then we're going to go single crochet all the way around until the stitch right before the beginning of the row, and we're going to do 2 into that one as well. So we've increased 4 total. And I'm going to stitch right before it. I've gone over enough of it, of this end, so I'm just going to cut that off. My little garbage can. Okay. Alrighty, so we're the 1 stitch right before the stitch marker, and we're going to do 2, and that ends it. I should have 24. Pray for me. This is where it always gets, like pray for, hope that you land with the end stitch that you're supposed to. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Something's wrong. Oh, that's right. It's right. Because that's only round 2, and you have to do the same thing in round 3. And then by the time I get to round 3, I will have 24. Okay, so we're doing good. Oh, I panicked there for a minute. And I always count, because and I'll keep counting until I land, because if you're 1 stitch off now, you know what I mean, you're frogging 15 rows behind. And I've been there. I've done all that. I need to walk my dog before the heat gets crazy. I'm in Montana. And I started a crochet group at church. We're making a win. That's awesome, Wendelin. Amazing. Well, if you can't join, you go enjoy the heat and the dogs, and then come back later. Because I definitely want you to watch the 2 stories that I wanted to share with you this week on how God's answering prayers all the way around here. So we got 2, and then I'm going to go 1 all the way around until the stitch right in front. Good morning, Liz. Are you guys making this with me, or are you guys doing your own projects? And so the 1 stitch right before, we're going to do 2 again. 1, 2, and then 1 single crochet over the marked stitch, which is the other side, and I'm going to put my yarn over in front of that. I want to put my marker there. All right, and then 2 right after that. 1, 2, and then 1. Keep going. I want to get through this increasing point, because there's like 20 rows where you just go around. So that part I can chat with you at. So I just want to get through this point, and we're the stitch right before, and I'm at the end. So I'm increasing 2, and now I should have 24 with no panic. Ready? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4. Bam. And then round 4, we're going to just single crochet around. I'm not changing colors either because, you know, I'm on TV. I'm already nervous enough. I don't need to be worried about changing colors. So I'll single crochet all the way around. And so I hope you guys had a great week. I had a really good week too, but it was crazy at VK headquarters. And then John's dad is he's old and his health is failing, and so we were at the emergency room on Thursday till 1 a.m. in the morning. So yesterday I was like a zombie at work. I'm going to stitch up. And I think he's stable now. So after all this, we'll go visit him. And I think he's alert and well again. And so we're doing a lot of praying at our house. It's just us and chickens. Don't be nervous. Oh, Gayla, I love it. I love it. You know, you're so right. You are so right about that. You know, I do a lot of, I read a lot of self-improvement books, and I'm constantly trying to grow and better myself, get closer to God, do all kinds of good stuff, be a good Christian, and be a good wife, be a good community leader, everything. I'm constantly learning. And so I have a lot of mentors that are highly successful people, entrepreneurs and solopreneurs and all that stuff. Okay, wait 1 second. Round 5 and 6, we're going to repeat rows 3 and 4. And we're at round 5. Same thing as 3 and 4, so we're going to do one more of this stuff. And then I should end up with 4 increase. So I'm just going to do that first, and then I'm going to chat for a little bit. So that's 1, 2 at the beginning, and then single crochet all the way around. And single crochet all the way around. And then increase 1 right before the stitch marker, right before the other side. So almost there. 1, 2, and oh my God, this yarn vomit. Let me see. Do you guys work along it? Do you take the time to take care of it right at the beginning? I find that if I'm impatient, so I'm constantly working along it, and then I just like pull it as it goes. But eventually, we're close to the end here. We're close to the end of this vomit, where then it's just going to start flowing right out of the yarn. Hi, Beth. Thanks for joining us. I'm starting to recognize you guys. I'm starting slowly. Um, all right, there. Just get a little bit more. 2 stitches before the stitch marker, so 2 stitches here, and then move up the stitch marker, 1 single crochet. I'm on row 5, guys, and then 2 after that stitch marker. We're increasing, and then 1. I can already tell it's going to be nice and bigger. I'm doing it loosely too. I'm doing it loosely, and I'm about to change to the bigger hook after this row. Oh my gosh, this is like insane. I feel like a monkey trying to open a coconut right now. Okay. Let's see, we're almost done. Increase one more, double up on the one before the end of the row stitch marker. I should have 28. Ready? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8. Woo! Not bad, guys, not bad. All right, and round 6 is the same as round 4, which is just single crochet across. We're close to that 20 rounds of going around. I can't wait to share with you my story. So I'm just crocheting around. So yes, who was the one that was just talking about? Oh, it rolled up fast. A bunch of us chickens. So yeah, so I have a lot of mentors that I follow, and they're always telling you, they're always talking about how don't, people are always going to judge you for what you do, especially when it comes to pursuing your dreams, or when you're doing scary things, or when you're trying to make yourself better, like if you're going to go on a diet, and then there's people that's always going to be, or you want to get healthier, and there's always going to be a person that's going to want to try to stop you, because they don't want you improving. They don't want you improving, because then it's a reflection about themselves, and how they're not improving, so they'll do anything to keep you to not improve as well, so that you stay on their level. So you're always going to be met with the opposition, but we all know what that looks like. It's never about that person. It is about the enemy. The ultimate, our life's battle is always with the enemy. And we either fight for God, or fight for the other dude. Somebody had commented about my super giant mug of coffee. Before you think that I'm a crazy coffee addict, which I used to be a long time ago, I used to make a pot of 12 and I would drink it all day long. And then my health got really, really bad. And uh, I blame some of it to the caffeine. So I had to cut back on caffeine a lot. So what this is 1 Keurig cup watered down by two of the same water, in one glass, and then a little creamer, coconut creamer. So I'm on row 6. Thank God for that stitch counter. I'm just going to single crochet around. And so one of the best tips that I got from them, from those mentors, is they're always saying that if they're not in the field to play with you, if they're not in the game with you, if they're not doing it with you, then they don't have any say in criticism, and you can't take their criticisms to heart. So you call me being afraid right now, and you reminding me that I'm just sitting around with a bunch of chickens with me, so I shouldn't be worried about being a chicken. I absolutely love it, because that reminds me of that. So we're on 7, and 7 is now changing to the bigger hook. So that was my H. Now I'm going into my I, and I use these clover ones with this handle. I absolutely love it. And then I got rid of all my other hooks after that. Wow, watered down coffee. Never heard of such a thing. Yes, very watered down coffee. Because the way I look at it, it was psychological, because all it did was I just needed the fake coffee flavoring, like, the creamer. I think my model jokes that I just drink coffee flavored creamer, because I drink coffee for the sweet cream. And then what pattern are you doing? Kelly, the pattern is from a free red heart, and it's in the show description, so that you can link right to it. And so that's the pattern I picked to do this sock along. And then where am I at? Hold on. So when I transitioned out from all that coffee, it turns out that all I needed was just a little hint of that coffee to make me feel like I'm still drinking coffee, and then watered down, because we need water. We need lots of liquids in our body. I love my coffee here, and I drink a lot of decaf. That's nice. I used to make fun of decaf drinkers, because my friend who was pregnant had to switch to decaf, and then I would be like, "Why are you drinking decaf? If you're drinking coffee, you want to do it to wake up." And then here I am, 20 years later, drinking watered down coffee. So, how we were when we were young to live recklessly and not think about our health until it catches up to you. Single crochet in each single crochet chain. So I think this in the in the pattern she's changing colors for striping effect. I'm not going to stripe. I'm just going to do a plain green sock. So I'm not going to worry about A and B. So it looks like I'm just going to go 4 single crochet. So for the foot, I'm just going to do 4 rounds of single crochet. So we're back to round 1 and 2 because they're not doing like in the pattern. So they're just changing it to make it easier to read. So we're back to round 1, and it's just single crochet for 4 rounds, it looks like. And then it's 20 rounds of just single crochet because I'm not doing the stripes, so I'm ignoring all those fancy instructions that they have to switch back and forth. So we could just chat away, and so I just want to pay attention to that row as I continue to just keep going around. You guys can follow the directions. I'm just not. And this is how I play around with patterns. I I think in my entire career of making stuff, I think I've only followed patterns like I would say 5 times that I followed a pattern through and through. The rest, I'm always doing my own stuff. I buy patterns and I support patterns and I get patterns to learn stitches. And once I learn something, and then I just go rogue anyways. And so uh, and that's why when I decided that I was going to create patterns, I was going to make patterns to give people confidence and teach people to go rogue, to do their own thing, to not be stuck to a certain pattern. Because I know a lot of people that can only read patterns and they have to do it exactly the way the pattern says it because they lose confidence if they do go separately, and then they uh, it almost imprisons them in that aspect. And not to say that to follow directions completely through is not a good thing. It is a good thing. Clearly, I lack that discipline, but I also want them to have a choice that when they do want to go rogue, that they have the confidence to do so. And so I teach people to I every the way I teach, I always give people alternatives, so that they're not chained to one specific idea, changed to one specific set of rules. And so that's how my patterns are. If you've purchased either one of my patterns, both of them, one is a knit and one is a crochet, and I think both have a little knit and crochet in them. And then I show you how to, it's almost like a pattern template. I show you how to um, use the idea and try different yarns, try different things. And haven't guessed, I like to go rogue. Yeah, I really like to go. I haven't guessed, you have. Yes, if you haven't guessed, I like to go rogue. Yes, me too, Liz. Yes, squirrel moments. Definitely Beth. In that movie, with that dog and that squirrel, John looked at me and said, "That's you." I said, "Yeah, that is me." Squirrel. Um, so yeah, so I just want to finish that thought, and I'm going to go to my story about God's grace. So yeah, so when it comes to criticism and people judging you and you being, I just watched Rachel Hollis. Do you guys know her? Rachel Hollis is an author and a speaker, and a Christian, and she speaks about empowering women and giving them strength and confidence and teaching them. And so she wrote the books Girl Wash Your Face and Girl Stop Apologizing. I heard about it a while ago, and then I finally read Girl Wash Your Face because I knew Girl Stop Apologizing was coming out, and I heard all this buzz. And she was an entrepreneur, a very successful entrepreneur. And so I read the book, and it was amazing. And then I pre-ordered Girl Stop Apologizing, which was amazing. And so I highly, highly recommend it if you guys are, um, and that's the book that actually uh, got me into my morning routine and getting up at 5 a.m. to start pursuing and my dreams and showing up for myself. And I found out that waking up early in the morning was the only way that I can carve out an hour to better myself. Do any crocheters actually follow patterns as written? You would be surprised. I'm actually glad that I'm in a slight room of people that go rogue a little bit. You would be surprised. In the beginning, I was in the Dare to Be Original Facebook group. There are a lot of people that follow only patterns. And then there are some people that don't even know how to read a pattern and they just do amazing things. And I'm just like, they're like, I don't know how to read a pattern. So I just kind of have to do my own stuff. But I can't bake. But I can't cook and bake exactly as written. Yeah, I struggle in that too, and that's why I'm not the best baker. And I found out recently that my husband is a better baker than I am because he's very monkish. He's very, he's like to the T. He'll like line it up and level it off, and I'm just like impatient. And I'm like, honey, it doesn't have to be perfect. He's like, yes, it does. If the recipe says it has to be this, then it has to be this. So, and then his baked goods turned out to be amazing, way better than mine. And then I realized that it's because I can't follow directions to the T, and he's a better direction follower than I am. Plus, it gives him confidence to bake, and then I don't have to. Can I get an amen? So, oh, look at he's stirring. I wonder if he's watching me live. All right, so I'm on 3. I'm going to go to 4. So something amazing happened this weekend or this earlier this week. And I shared the story in the Dare to Be Original Facebook group. If you guys aren't a part of it, go sign up and join. If you're not a part of my newsletter, sign up and join my newsletter. And the only reason why I'm going to spend my energy the rest of this year uh, asking that you join my newsletter because all these I don't have a website right now. So I did have a website a long time ago and then the Chinese hacked it. And so now I was Vone Knits and I'm no longer Vone Knits. And I'm glad it was a hard lesson. There's a video on that. You guys can watch it on that story. And I'm grateful for the lesson. I'm grateful for the fact that it was Vone Knits. I was, and then I had to change everything to my name. I can't imagine having to learn that lesson and reversing it using my name and then having to find some other name and losing my name. But I ended up losing the name that I wouldn't mind losing over my real name. But now that I've learned that lesson, now I'm confident to do my name. And so plus this year I wanted to be a pattern designer, so to go behind a brand didn't feel right to me. Hey, look, I'm on the good part now. And so I will sign up for the newsletter. Awesome, Kathy. So the reason why I stress that is because all these platforms are not of my platform. And I'm gonna give this advice to anybody that's selling here, that's an entrepreneur. Social media, you don't own social media. You can build up to all your followings on social media and they can take you off of that platform in 2 seconds. And then all the relationship that you've built, all the community that you've built, like my Facebook group, my Dare to Be Original Facebook group, if Facebook should choose to remove me and I'm done and that group is dismantled, I have no way of connecting with you, only through my email. Only through my emails can I continue to let you know where I'm at, where we can meet, what we can do. Just like YouTube, it's great to have all these videos and have this platform. Should YouTube decide to shut my channel down, I will lose all my connections with you guys. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to adamantly beg you to join my newsletter so that I have a way of contacting you and you have a way of contacting me, because I don't want us to part ways, especially if we enjoy each other's company. And at the very latest, I can, and if you're on the newsletter and I can continue So through the emails, I can continue to make my videos. I can continue to have conversations with you. I can continue to share with you, and you can continue to reply back and share with me. And that's the way. That's the only way. If you want to, if you're a marketer and you want an audience, and or if you want to communicate, it's the only way. Emails are like the new phone numbers, are the new phone exchange. Now, social media, oh, this is going to be nice. It is going to be nice and big. So social media is a great way to build new audience and keep getting your word across by sharing hashtags and doing topics that people want to see. And yeah, that's a great way to get your word out and spread further. Is the email link below this video? Yes, the email link is below this video. It's actually right underneath the link for the pattern. Um, so, and it's just a weekly newsletter. I don't spam you. I don't bombard you. I send out one email a week. And for the longest time, I wasn't sending any emails out. But I'm trying to be regular every week to send you one email of an update of the things that I'm working on. But right now, these emails have been about the creative interviews, and I feature who I chatted with, and then in the email I just have a paragraph or two about the highlights of who I just chatted with in the creative interview, and then I share with you what videos were the latest, just to keep you informed of what I've been working on that week. And then I always encourage you to, and then I'll share a schedule if I'm doing anything. Where do I sign up in the newsletter? Just click the link and then you just enter your email, and then you'll get a free ebook of mine that I wrote. My first ebook I wrote for the Facebook group. I spent a year doing a mastermind because I wanted to meet. Well, I wanted to meet. I want to make sure I'm not losing focus here. Um, so we're now at the 20 rounds of just going all the way around. I'm not changing colors, so I can just keep going as long as I remember to hit that clicker. If you guys see me go past this blue stitch marker and I'm not hitting the clicker, shake my computer. So the email list, so I created a mastermind to connect with a bunch of makers in an intimate setting because I wanted to work with a bunch of new entrepreneurs at the time because I was a new entrepreneur, and I thought having a mastermind would be great. And so I did that for a year, and I found out to have a Facebook group that I was monetizing or not monetizing, I needed to write something. So I forced myself to write a book to basically sell to them so that they can be a part of the Facebook group. The value was inside the Facebook group. It was the community that we had, that intimate setting. And I'm going to turn the fan on for 2 seconds here. And so in 3 days, I had to write an ebook, and that was just my awesome, Kathy, you found it. So that was just my way of writing the ebook out. I just want to make sure we're still live and we're still good. And 21 of you guys are watching and joining. This is amazing. I'm so excited. So I did that, and that was really fun. And so that's what that ebook was about. The Handmade Creative Mastermind was what I called the mastermind. I want to do that again eventually, but it took a lot out of me that year. So if I do it again, I would need some serious like planning, and I definitely want to do that because I got so much out of it. I know that other people did too. And so hopefully maybe you'll hear about that one day. But right now, this year, I'm just focusing on creating patterns because that's what I want to do. I want to get as many people making as possible, including myself, because the enemy had me in his wraps for a long while. And like I said, I was so grateful because Ravelry woke me up. It really woke me up to see what was going on, and it got me making again. I'm making again. And so I wanted to share the story. So this morning, these severe storms here also, I may have to sign off. Oh, that's okay, Beth. Be safe and come back. You know where to find this video later on. So earlier this week, I there was a young girl, at least from the picture. She uh, I posted a so and I talked about on Monday Morning Motivation last Monday about going like shooting for the stars, and it's okay if you just land in the moon, but you got to shoot far, you got to aim far for your dreams. And then if you should come short, there's life after Aubrey. Oh, there's a beautiful life after Aubrey. A beautiful life, and we're living it right now. We are living the beautiful life right now. um that's what happens when you can resist the enemy, and you know you've made a decision for yourself. And I'm not just saying just about rivalry, but when you know something is wrong and you resist it and you walk with God, the the distance and the flight, the height that you go when you're walking in God's light, and you know when you've done what He's asked you to do, it's it's an empowering thing that that I highly encourage. And it's a high unlike any other. It's a high unlike any other artificial drug that you could imagine. And so this her name is Amara, this young girl. She I put a post on Instagram asking a question about, oh, what dreams are you pursuing this week? Because we're all pursuing big dreams, right? So what do you want to get accomplished this week? What's the big dream? And she wrote back. She was the only one. I woke up Tuesday morning. She woke up and she was the only one that answered me. And she said, I want to learn a new way to crochet to prevent my hands from hurting. And so I shared with her a tip to constantly stretch. I'm constantly stretching my hands. And with the phone these days, and all of us doing this and the phones, we're all going to have arthritis by the time we're 45. And I'm approaching it in a couple of years, and my hands are already killing me. But that was happening during crochet. So I knew with phones and typewriters and computers, like I'm constantly stretching my hands, I'm constantly stretching my arms. So I offered that advice to her. And then I also said you should also pick up knitting, because it's really awesome to learn both crafts, because when my hand hurts from crochet, then I knit. When my hand hurts from knitting, I crochet. They work different muscles, so you don't get stuck in the same things. And so she responded back, thank you so much for replying, and giving your great advice. And she said, I watched one of your videos. This is all through Instagram message. She's like, I watched one of your videos from a maker that's my friend, a creative interview. Like one of my first creative interviews was from a friend of hers that I never knew. I was like, who's your friend? And it was from Lucerda, which is an awesome video. I absolutely love her, but she's kind of disappeared from Instagram, so I don't have the connections with her. But I think she's still following me once in a while. But I love that video. You guys should watch all those creative interviews. They're there in the library. Every single one of those interviews, you're going to learn something. You're going to learn more than something, and you're going to be inspired, because these are all ordinary women doing extraordinary things. And then I have a whole bunch lined up. So I'm so excited. I didn't think I was going to do any more this year, because I was just going to focus on these lives. But it turns out I'm just meeting so many amazing makers that I'm like, we have to get on an interview and have a conversation, and then share the conversation with other people. And so I have a bunch scheduled coming up in August too. That's going to be lining up. That would be, so the ones releasing in August are already done. So now I'm going to be starting to film in August again. So I'll have more in September and October. So I'm so excited about those. So if you want to chat with me and we turn on the camera, I would love it, and I would be honored if you guys want to do a creative interview with me. You don't even have to sell or monetize, just to be, because there was even a couple of ladies that didn't monetize, but just loved to talk about crafting, and making and knit and crochet and whatever. But it's not just about crafting either. My next couple one is an entrepreneur that's like a health coach, a wealthy boss is actually her thing. Mariah Seacrest Comer, you should look her up too. But she was basically, so I got the sense from this young Amara that I was like, do you want to sell your stuff? I asked her. And because I got a feeling like she seems like new, and her Instagram page was like very small, like you could tell she's new. And she said yes, but I'm terrified. and so she's and so when I hear somebody riddled with fear, you know this is my wheelhouse, right? And so she said, "But I'm terrified, but your videos are motivating me to pursue and to dream big again, and I'm hoping that it's time to conquer my fears and get over this stuff." And I said, but she said, but the only thing that's holding her up right now is her name, like the name of her brand. She doesn't have a brand name. And so I know what that looks like. I've been there. I've been there. I've been that young. And I know how when we want to start something big and something that we're dreaming about in our heart, something that we want to pursue, the enemy starts to put distractions in our way, and he starts putting roadblocks in front of us. And her roadblock right now is the brand, the name. So we want to wait to line everything up and make sure everything's perfect before we continue. And so I knew what that was going to look like. I knew that she was going to sit on that name forever. So I jumped onto Google and I looked up Amara real quick. And one of the things that that the name means, it was in Hebrew and a bunch of other things, but one of the things the words I saw was grace. I saw the word grace. Good morning, Tammy. 9:47. Oh, you're the same time as me. So perfect timing at the start of. I wanted to share a story about God's answering prayers for all of us here. So I looked up her name and it said Grace. And one of the meanings was grace. And I was like, huh. I said, for the past 2 days now, I have been listening to a whole bunch of different versions of Amazing Grace. And my favorite one right now is from Hillsong, called Broken Vessels. I absolutely love it. It's 10 minutes of, like, it's almost chanting. I want to meditate. I've been meditating to it. I absolutely love it. And so when I saw that, and I'm like, that's why Grace. That's why Amazing Grace has been popping up on my music channel for the past couple of days. So I messaged to her and I said, "What do you think of Gracefully Amara as your brand?" And she's like, "I like it, but let me think about it." And then I said to her, because I've been, so then I knew that she was gonna sit and think about it. So I was like, and I felt very adamant about this name. And I said, because I have been listening to a bunch of Amazing Grace songs, and I don't think it's a coincidence that the Lord put me in your path. I said, I think He put me in front of you to help you with your fears. And I think He put me directly in front of you to help you. And so how can I help you? And and then and then she said, and that's what gave her chills, because I spoke very abruptly. I've known for some time, a long time ago, 4 years ago, when I thought I was just going to get on Etsy and sell my handmade crafts. I got into a community and did the Dare to Be Original Facebook group, and met all these amazing people that was riddled with fear. And as was I, riddled with fear to pursue new things. And that's when I decided to do this YouTube channel. I'm an introvert. If you watch my first video, all the way at the bottom of my channel, I still leave it there to remind myself and to show everybody else what beginning looks like. It was 2 minutes and I think 36 seconds, 38 seconds of me riddled with fear getting on camera. I picked a fight with my husband that morning just to avoid filming that video, but I had to share that message. I felt called to share that message. And it was about that we weren't each other's competition. It was the big debate at the time, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. It was the big debate, like, we're all the handmade competitors are each other's competition. And I was like, whoa, no. And I'm going to stop right there. I just signed up for the newsletter. So excited for all your future inspiration. Oh, thank you, Annie. I'm so glad. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you love that ebook. I'm so glad you love that ebook. That was a 3-day call. I'm just telling you right there. I just poured everything I knew in one shot, because that came from God too. um, I I everybody was like, the handmade community was like just nitpicking at each other. And I remember getting up there and I was like, no, you guys, we're not each other's competition. We're not each other's competition. I said, the manufacturing business is our competition. The machines are our competitors, not the next person's hands. Our hands can only do so much. Our minds, our hearts can only do so much. And there's billions of people in the world. The one handmade person is not competing with the next handmade person. We're here to help each other. The stronger the handmade community is, the more people buy handmade. The weaker we are, if we have a weak link in the handmade community, that's when the people will turn away from handmade and go buy from the machines. That was my message. And I remember getting on there and everybody's like, what do you mean when you're not my competitor? I'm like, no, I'm not your competitor. I'm I'm your saving grace. We have to help each other. The stronger we are the stronger we are as a community of handmade makers, the more people will support handmade. If we're weak and pecking on each other, they're gonna think we won't survive. You, so, as a solo handmade maker, will never survive. As a small business, will never survive without the bigger community of handmade makers, because the machine is strong and it's huge. It's powerful, and it will crush any single entity. Just like Goliath and David, like it will crush it unless you walk and help and encourage, and strengthen. And so that's when I was like, I had to make that video. And then I was like, and that's all been my message from day one. That's why I opened that Facebook group. I wanted to share all of our tips. I wanted to help every newbie maker that wanted to sell, so that they would get out there and have the courage to sell with me. And my favorite bestie at the time was called the Scarf Room, was Stanka from the Scarf Room. And I thought it was a genius, because I make one of a kind handmade scarves, but I will promote her shop any day. You want to know why? Because anybody that's going to support her shop is going to want to buy a handmade scarf from me potentially in the future. Because if her shop looks amazing, then guess what? The next time they want a scarf, because we always have scarves, we always need scarves, we never run out. It's that scarcity mindset that the enemy likes to use on us to make us feel alone. He likes to use scarcity as one of our fears. So we think we're going to run out. We think everything is limited. But you know what? God is a flowing river of amazing things and amazing miracles. You know what I mean? And his river is strong and his well is filled all the time. He will continue. You remember the story about the fish and the one basket of the fish that he fed thousands and thousands of people with the two fishes because the basket never emptied? That's God. That's God. You know what I mean? And when you walk with him, you are filled with that. And the message is to help, to spread, help and spread, help and spread. And so Satan likes to use the other message by, no, you're alone. You can't spread. If you share, they're going to steal it from you. They're going to, no, it's wrong. It's a lie. It's a lie. And so that's why, so that was my first message. That was my first 2 minute, 3 minute. And so I remember I lost a lot of friends that day when I made that message, because I was like, but at the same time, I also gained a lot, because there was a lot of, so because my message made sense. I'm like, and if you're standing alone, it makes sense. It doesn't run out. You know, when I when I start realizing, that's when I started realizing about the enemy and his fights. I was raised Catholic, and so I just kind of like followed the rules, and I never really learned the Bible until I met John, and he's Presbyterian, and he and the teachings were very different. And then with John, I started to develop my relationship with Jesus. And until then, I was a stranger to him. When I was a Catholic, I was a stranger to him, because I was just doing what my mama told me to do, and going to church, teaching CCD and all that stuff. And I never really read the Bible or did any of that. As I got older, and the more and more I started realizing the fight and developing my relationship with the Lord, I started realizing that. And that's why on Instagram, he's in my bio. Jesus is my BFF. I did that like 4 years ago, when I wanted everybody to know who I walk with. So and it was scary in the beginning when I first made that commitment and put that my brand out there with him. And I was terrified that I would lose people. But at the same time, I was like, if I lost people, there were people that weren't walking with him anyways. And so why would I want to walk with people that weren't walking with him? So I learned very quickly that see, Satan told me that if I put Jesus in my bio, I was not going to be a successful handmade maker. I was not going to be a successful shop. And it terrified me. But I knew, because I developed my relationship with him, that I knew that it was a lie. And then I put him in there and then that's when I realized, I'm like, if people know that I walk with him and they walk with him, they're going to support me. And if people don't walk with him, they're going to leave, and I don't want them anyways, because they're going to be people that are riddled with Satan's lies. You know what I mean? And so I wouldn't want to walk with them anyways, because they're just going to tear me down and weigh me back, hold me back and weigh me down, so that became very easy. So that's why it's right in my bio. I'm only on row 8. We're going to 20. I guess we're gonna have to do a part 2 of this crochet log, guys, because we're approaching an hour. But I do want to finish my 2 stories this week. So I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. I will have this sock done by next week, so that when I go to part 2, I'll stop at the next round and show you guys what the rest of this video looks like the rest of this pattern looks like. So I'll intend for part 2 to be that way. Others than hordes of others. Exactly, Sylvia, exactly. And this Ravelry video just did that. It was the best affirmation I've had in a long time for that. So Amara, so I said to her, I told her the story. I said, I've been listening to a lot of Amazing Grace, and I have a feeling, I know for a very fact, that the Lord put that song in front of me to help you. And so she got back and she told me, and we were having this conversation, casual conversation, and then she says, I love it, I'm going to use it, that's my name, she's starting it with her husband, I'm going to share it with my husband and make sure that he's okay with the name. But I absolutely love it, and you've answered my prayers. The Lord answered my prayers, and I didn't think he was that fast. And I said, what do you mean? I asked her, I said, have you been following me a long time? And she said, no, you just got on my radar the night before. My Instagram post, so not even my Ravelry video, my Instagram post showed up on her feed about, I think it was Love Binds, Hate Divides. And she saw that post and she felt it encouraging that I wrote a message. It was just all about me loving you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. You. Did I forget you? No, I didn't forget you. I love you. I love you. I love you. That was the point of the post. And did I get everybody? Yes, I got everybody. I love all of you. That was the post that popped up on her feed. And she was like, that message spoke to her. So then she went through my YouTube channels, found my messages, and saw me. Good morning, Wendy. So happy you could join. Yes, Gracefully Amara sounds like a wonderful name. Thank you. Well, that was not from me. That was from the Lord. He whispered it to me, and I listened. And then I shouted it at her. Because that's what I do. When I know now more and more as I've gotten older and as I've gotten closer to God, I know when he shouts at me, and sometimes I'm not the best friend. Sometimes I ignore his shouts. Sometimes I do. But there are times where I don't. And the Ravelry video, I did not. And so he carried me through that. And I've watched the benefit from that. I've watched the rewards that came from that. And now my faith in him is even more stronger. It's more fortified than it's ever been before. And that's why I'm so grateful for Ravelry and what happened. It woke me up and it drew me closer to God and closer to my message and what I've been wanting to do, what I've been called to do forever. And then I went into a stupor because he used my health against me, and I let him win over for 2 years where I've done nothing. I've done nothing creatively. And I let Satan shackle me and use my health and shackle me from within. And but now I'm awake. I'm awake, powerful than ever, stronger than ever. And that's why sock was my next big fear, right? So that's why we're doing the sock along. So crochet sock, in a couple of weeks, we're going to knit, and then we're going to take over the world. So when I share, so I asked her, I said, am I new to you, or have you been following me a while? And she said, you're brand new. It was just the night before. And I said, then I know for a fact the Lord put me in your path to help you. And he put that song in front of me because that is the perfect name for you. Because knit and crochet is a graceful sport. It takes, John loves it when I call it a sport. He's like, he's like, he's like, why is that a sport? He's like, because have you ever pulled an all-nighter trying to get something done? It's a sport. Have you ever gone through no meals trying to finish a project? It's a sport. And so is it, have you ever been injured by trying to finish your project? It's a sport. Do you know how to try to figure out math and use your brain to conquer this project? It's a sport. So that's why I always call it a sport, and he cracks up when I say that. But so I said grace knit and crochet is a graceful art and a graceful craft, and it takes grace to do one stitch at a time to make something amazing, one stitch at a time. And so she's like, I absolutely love it. She's like, I've been praying for a name, and I didn't think the Lord would answer me this quickly. And therefore, that's why she didn't respond immediately, if that was it, until I told her how I came about that name. And then she realized for sure that it was God answering her prayers. And so, and in return, I wanted to share that in return from that, he was answering my prayers, because for the past 2 weeks I've been wrapped up in Ravelry and how to move past it, because like I said, that's not the fight. If we stay with fighting Ravelry, then that's Satan distracting us, and the fight's over with. We've won, we've left, we've moved on. There's more fights to pursue. There's more, like our sock, like me making socks. That's my next big fight. And so I needed something to get me away from that. And the Lord put her in front of me to show me what I was called to do, and that is to help makers make. That is to help creators to create. That is my call. That's been my call since for 4 years ago, when I created that Dare to Be Original Facebook group, and I saw all these people, and that's why I created this channel. Was I wanted to help makers and creators be the best versions of themselves, and to keep them from creating, because the enemy is really good at stopping us from doing what God has created us to do, and that is to create, to keep creating, whatever that looks like, be it to make better human beings, mommies and daddies, you know what I mean? Be it to make your job better, be it to make yourself better, to develop yourself. And that's, you're creating yourself every day. When you get up and you want to show up for yourself and you want to do things to make yourself better, you're creating yourself. You are doing what God has called you to do, and that's what he's made you to do. And that's, so I'm not just talking about crafting, I'm talking about everything, because that's what a creator is, to produce something out of nothing. When you have nothing and you produce something out of it, that's creating. You making yourself better every day, that's creating. You are creating yourself to be a better version of yourself. I do that all the time. So I'm here to spread that message and to remind everybody. And for the longest time, I kept myself quiet because I wasn't creating. I wasn't doing that. And so that is my call in life. And so that's why, so to help her, and then I shared with her a bunch of different tips on how to fast stream her thing, to get a logo. She's like, what about a logo? Should I make it all capital letters? Because I kept saying gracefully in capital letters. I was like, you don't have to make it capital. I was like, I was just making it capital and make sure you heard me. I was shouting it to you to make sure you heard that. And then later on that week, I have a creative interview that's coming up on Wednesday from an amazing lady that you have to watch. I implore that you guys watch this next creative interview. She is a very godly woman. She's in her 60s, and she's pursuing art in her 60s, pursuing an artist's life in her 60s, you know? And she's done everything. She's a singer. She's tried singing. She's tried knit and crochet. She's tried everything, and she's now trying to monetize art for the glory of God. She's also a Christian book writer. She's got several self-published books coming out in there. And for some reason, I'm a big procrastinator, that I'm a recovering procrastinator. There's a great sense of peace when you're going along with God's will. Amen, Liz. There is such a peace. That's exactly what I was trying to say in the beginning of this video. When you're walking in his light, you know it. There's a high that nothing artificial can produce, you know? And, but the higher you rise with him, that's the harder the enemy will try to knock you down from that. And that's when I've learned, new level, new devil is the phrase. I think Myers, I can't remember her name. A lot of people quote her. I can't remember her name. She's a big Christian leader. I don't really follow her or listen to her, but her name pops up, and if I heard it, I would know it. But right now I'm drawing a blank. But so for some reason this week I listened to her creative interview ahead of time. I'm usually the night before listening to it and then writing the post and sending the email out to you guys, getting it scheduled, and then boom, the next morning. I'm always like nervous the day before because I always wait. But for some reason this week, I listened to her message already. I took down a whole bunch of her notes because there's so many notes I was taking left and right. I could have written a whole page, but my Franklin Covey only had so much space to write her notes, and I was doing that in the middle of work. So I was just listening to the thing and taking as much notes as I possibly could from her. And then I took a screenshot of it and I sent it to her. It just made me feel like I wanted to send it to her. I've never taken notes ahead of time. This is a whole week ahead of schedule. Something is amiss that I'm doing. I took a screenshot and then I sent her the picture of the screenshot. Thank you so much, Wendelin. I didn't have a good feeling about Robert. Yeah, and oh boy, they sealed the deal. Yes, they did. Yes, it did. I think a lot of people got that message too. I think I wasn't aware of it because, like I said, I wasn't an avid user, so I wasn't aware of it. But I think a lot of people did, and the only thing that drew my attention was the policy. So I took the screenshot of the message and then I messaged it to her because I felt called to do that. I don't know why. Something just made me like, I think she'll appreciate this screenshot. So I want to show her that I'm all ready for her. I took notes from her video. Her video is going to be amazing. And I can't wait to share it with everybody. I can't wait for everybody to be inspired by her story, to be inspired by her sharing, spread God's word and her message. 61 years old, trying to pursue an artist career. And so I follow her on Instagram. I always know when it's her art. I'm constantly loving it. It's called Art by Vone. So I always think it's me. I'm always thinking that's God's trying to tell me, should I be painting? Because, and then I realized, oh no, that's my friend, Yvonne, right? Yvonne Carson. She's in the Facebook group. So when I sent her the screenshot of the message, she messaged me back on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger, and said, Devon, I just came out of the doctor's office with horrible health news. And your screenshot was an answer from God of the notes that I took from her creative interview coming out. And she said, you are being a vessel for him and you don't even know it. And I just got chills. Because, like I said, I've never listened to a creative interview a whole week in advance. I'm never that prepared. I don't take notes. I certainly don't take screenshots of my notes with my scratchy chicken scratch handwriting and showing people what it looks like. May I have a sock along later? What a beautiful testimony. Oh, yes. Yes. I had to put the sock down. I finally got on chat. Yay, Sultana. Oh my God. You guys go shout to Sultana and say hi to Sultana. Sultana has been on my journey from day one. She is my number one biggest fan of all times. She has been a supporter of mine since day one. She has been a patron of mine. I also have a Patreon page that helps me support this YouTube channel that I got a patron this week. So I'm super excited about that. And Patreon is just 2 levels, $1 a month to just show me love, to help me, encourage me to keep pursuing this YouTube video. And then I have a $5 a month that if you're on the $5 a month, every pattern I come out with, I just share it with my $5 Patreons. And I haven't been creating. I've only done 2 patterns, and Sultana has been patiently a Patreon for $5 for the past 2-3 years now, whenever I created it, and only has seen 2 patterns. But this year, Sultana, you're going to get a billion new patterns from me because I'm creating again. And Sultana has been on my journey since day one, and I absolutely adore every piece of her. So I'm so glad you came on live. Um, and I've been praying to get Sultana on a creative interview. And so we're just going to keep praying for her strength and her courage to come out. And one day we're going to get to see her beautiful story, and so we're going to keep praying, right? Right, Kathy? Let's pray for Sultana to get on here. So Yvonne told me that my screenshot of her notes from her interview coming out of the doctor's office was the exact message she needed from God, and I was a vessel for her. And I'm blown away. I'm blown away at his grace, at how he's answering prayers all the time. All the time. He's been doing this in my life for a long, long time. I would say till the beginning of my life, right from when I first came to America, right from when we escaped our country in a boat that my dad thought we were going to die in, that he risked his entire family, his 2 young children, my sister and I, tiny babies hidden in a boat, drugged so that we wouldn't make any noise so they could pretend to be fishing to cross the river and escape our communist country. And had he been caught not fishing, we would have been executed. But by God's grace, we sailed through and we got on the other side of safety. And I stand here today with you because of it. So God has been protecting me for a very long time. And I hate it. I hate it when I forget that fact. I hate it when I forget that fact. And so I try to remind myself that all the time. I can share with you stories of amazing people. Sarah, from my co-host from Monday Morning Motivation, she had health issues right from when she was in her mama's belly, and the doctors encouraged her to abort her because she would never be a healthy baby. She would never be able to walk. I believe she wouldn't even survive. I don't know the first years. I don't know Sarah's full story. She tells me all the time, and I sometimes it's too much, and then my heart can't handle it. But she is alive and powerful and a mother. And she just got a puppy this week who's insane. And 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 pursuing her dream with Pampered Treasures. Go follow her YouTube channel and go support her. Like, you know what I mean? And the doctors encouraged her mom to abort her, because she wasn't going to be a normal person. Sarah is the most beautiful human being on the planet, doing amazing things. I'm chasing her right now. She's running at a speed that I can't catch up at, and she's half my age. And they wanted to abort her. But by God's grace, her mom said no. Her mom said no. And then look at her now. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy. You can't join me on Monday Morning Motivation and not see that beautiful redhead with that beautiful smile pursuing her dream and not realizing what could have been. And then when you think of all the abortions that actually followed through, what did those look like that no longer came to light? What did that look like that no longer came to light? I can't imagine. I can't imagine. And that's why I did the rivalry video. That's why I did it. For God so loved the world that he sent his only son to die on the cross for us, for me. Amen. Right? All right, guys. I got to wrap this up. It's 10:15. I don't want to keep you guys from doing whatever you guys are doing. So I'm going to go up to row 20 on this pattern. If you guys are following along this crochet along, I'm going to go up to row 20 and I'm going to pray to the Lord that I'm going to finish this sock, and then I'm going to end my second pair, my round 2, at round 20 for next week, so I can show you what the rest of this pattern looks like, hopefully when I figure it out. So this is round 1. This is the first crochet along. Do you guys like these crochet alongs? The next ones will be knit alongs. I do both, so we're gonna rotate them back and forth. And then I also, this year, I also announced that I will be making handbags and branching out from scarves to accessories. So I wanted to make, so this is my very first handbag that I made, and with a sewing machine and real zippers. I got these zippers from Etsy. So awesome. Here late to watch the replay. Yes, Ruby definitely watched the replay. So I learned to, I watched a lot of YouTube videos to learn how to sew. And so I made this, and it's so exciting that I actually learned how to sew. And you should have seen me watching a billion YouTube videos on how to sew, and a knit along for socks. I like the idea of a knit along for socks. Yeah, I like that idea too. I'm still praying over that strength. I'm still praying over that strength, sister. Tress just messaged me saying that I'm her favorite YouTuber right now. Can you believe I'm a YouTuber? I am the shyest introvert known to mankind, and now I'm a YouTuber at 41. This bag is awesome. Thank you, Sultana. So maybe one day we can learn how to make, I can show you how to make this. But I watched one video in Chinese or Japanese. I'm not sure what language. I just knew it was, and I was just like, what the heck? And all I was trying to do was watch what she was doing, but the language was like, oh. But my favorite is my husband will always walk by and he'll go, do you know what she's saying? I'm like, no, honey, that's a whole other language. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So, I keep this around to remind myself, because that was another thing that Satan always told me, was me and the sewing machine were enemies. Me and the sewing machine are frenemies. I love the sewing machine. It does not love me, so I didn't think I could ever sew, but I made this bag out of it. So yeah, we're now friends. We're no longer enemies. Now, are we distant friends? Most likely. We're not BFFs or anything. But one day we might be, that takes time. So that's the plan. All right, guys, you guys have a wonderful week. Pray for Yvonne. Watch out for her creative interview this Wednesday. Sign up for the newsletter so you don't miss it. And I'm in that newsletter, I'm going to share a bunch of quotes from her, and they are mind-blowing. She is a profound human walking with God. Profound. Yeah, so that's it. So those are my 2 stories of God's grace touching our lives and answering our prayers. And I know that if you guys are listening, I know that he's doing it in your lives too. Share it with me. Share it in this comment. Tell me your stories of how God's touched you this week, of the amazing miracles that he's producing in your lives. Because I found out from Jennifer, who's a friend of mine from years ago, and she just messaged me because she finally just watched the Ravelry video, and she finally just watched my my Facebook Live video about that. And she's like, Devon, you're a whole different person. She hasn't watched my videos in a long while. And she's like, you're a totally different person. What's happened? She's like, your videos are in walking in confidence, like on a whole new level that she's never seen me before. I said, I've just been doing a lot of work with God, and this is what it looks like. That's all I can say is I've just been doing a lot of work with him, and this is what it looks like. It's not me, it's him, He's doing miracles in my life. And so the more we share with each other what those look like, the more we can dispel Satan's lies that there are no miracles happening, that we are alone in the world, and that God is not answering our prayers, when in fact, he is answering prayers. He's answering them all the time. I never, like I said, I never would have listened to it. Something made me listen to her message. Something made me take down her notes. Something made me share that screenshot with her. And it turned out to be exactly what she needed to see because she walked out of the doctor's office with bad health news. And he was using me as a vessel. If she didn't share that with me, I would have just thought, oh, that's nice. We're going along our merry little way. If I didn't have a full in-depth conversation with Amara as to how I got on her radar and found out, because I was curious. I was curious if coincidentally I was placed in front of her or if she's been following me for a long time and been too scared to reach out and answer one of my surveys. I was just curious. And it turned out I was just placed right in front of her just to help her with her name so she can continue and pursue her dream without roadblocks, because Satan's always putting roadblocks in front of us for pursuing our best versions, you know? And so our fight is to not let him use those roadblocks, right? Amen. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. All right, guys. God bless you. Can't wait to see you next week. We're going to have part 2 and we'll be done with a whole pair of socks. And then we're going to pray a little bit. And then I'm going to do a knit along sock. What's the best way to learn something? Teach it. Teach it. If you teach it, you will learn it. That's the best way to learn something. Teach it. All right. God bless you guys. Bye.